This video will be structured in 7 parts. You can find the structure of the video in the description below to see what part might interest you most. In the first part, I will talk about music and how I express my inner emotions through music. The second part, I will talk about a quote from Philip K. Dick in relation to Hegel. In the third part, I will talk about who I am or what I am from a philosophical point of view. In the fourth part, I will talk about schizophrenia and psychological issues at large. In the fifth part, I will talk about the relationship between what I call me, my empirical self, God, and the world. It will be the longest part, I guess. In the sixth part, I will talk about what I believe. And in the seventh part, I will talk about what I plan to do or what I intend to do as long as I can. So, first part. I will share the song Till I Collapse by Eminem. And it's the introductory lyrics which are important. When I feel a tendency, a drive towards mental breakdown and just to give up and to collapse mentally, I think about this song and I try to find the inner strength to maintain myself and to try to resist my weak tendency and to remain as strong as I can and to find inspiration in these lyrics. So I will try to struggle as long as I can against my weakness and to find the strength to keep a strong mind as long as possible. Now, I would like to read a quote from Philip K. Dick, the science fiction writer who had apparently a very powerful mystical experience in March 1974. That's the official story. And here's a quote from the folder 26 of the Exegesis, a quote which has played a significant role in my intellectual and spiritual development. He says, "God develops himself toward perfection through history dialectically, and the goal of history is the growth of human freedom. Thus, I learned to my delight that most of what I experienced, saw, and learned in March 74 confirms Hegel, and I am thus a Hegelian." I discovered this quote in the early month of 2018. And the idea that someone in 1974 could say that his experience of a mystical view or a spiritual experience confirmed the thought of Hegel, which in this view existed some 150 years earlier, it seemed to me so strange, so amazing in a way, that I became interested in Philip K. Dick and my own life, my own intellectual life at this moment in February maybe 2018 had confirmed Hegel, so I identified as a Hegelian. And I'm not sure that many people ever said my life experience confirms Plato, so I am a Platonician, or my life experience confirms Aristotle or Descartes or David Hume, so I am an Aristotelian or a Cartesian or a Humean. It might happen with Marx. There might be people who say my life confirms Karl Marx, so I am a Marxist. But except with the exception of Marx, it's very rare that someone might say my experience of spirituality confirms, or my experience of life at large confirms such a thinker, so I am a follower of this thinker, I guess. So yeah, I just wanted to share that thought because as of now, most of my life experiences have confirmed Hegel. So I guess that I am a Hegelian. For better and for worse, I might add. Okay, so now, more seriously, who am I? I made videos about my religious identity, the 2 previous videos. Now I will talk philosophically. If I had to define myself as of now, the 17th of April 2022, I know myself from a philosophical standpoint to be what Hegel calls the negative, and also what he calls reason. And I am starting to understand that I think that I am what he calls the concept, which is a unity of the singular, the particular, and the universal. And if I had to express with my own words what I understand by the word concept, as Hegel understands this, the singular is my empirical self, what I identify as my empirical self with my own psychology, my own emotions, my own history, my own limitations, my own wicked tendencies, my own evil, my own psyche. This is my singular self, the self that you, whoever you are, you see when I speak. This is my singular self. Then my particular self. You can also partly see my particular self. I have illustrations of my particularities. I am a male. I am in my late 20s. I am European. These are 3 particularities of mine that you can see. And the realm of particularity is the realm of opposition, but also unity, because I am in unity with all those who share my particularities. In this sense, I understand and I feel closer to the European males between 25 and 35, those of my generation, because we have the same cultural references, we have partly the same experiences, and we are similar. And the realm of particularity is the realm of opposition, and I am opposed to all the particularities which are not my particularities. So women, younger and older people, and non-Europeans. And then there's the realm of universality, which is my immaterial self, which expresses itself through language. You can hear my language, but the ideas that I express through my words, you can't see them, you have to think them. And my language expresses logical categories. And to illustrate a very bland example, if I say 2 plus 2 equals 4, this truth, which is a mathematical truth, is true for every thinking consciousness wherever in the universe. But, as Hegel would say, a mathematical truth is a very poor, very abstract form of truth, because it's only in the realm of quantity and space for the geometrical truth, so it's not really that interesting. So I am a conflicted being. I am 3 in 1, and my singular self is what could be called the negative and what is bad, and my universal self is what is positive and good. And I believe that my universal self is what people call God, because they say that God is the truth and my universality speaks the truth. So, yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Now, about schizophrenia. There is a possibility that the entity that people call God might suffer from most, if not all, mental diseases and illnesses. But a mental illness, as I have learned from experience, can be rationally explained through the language of Hegel's philosophy. And I think that the mental psychological problem that God suffers from, if he suffers from this problem, is schizophrenia, which is a splitting of the mind. And the philosophy of Hegel is nothing but a splitting of the mind. So that's what I wanted to say. So I believe that I suffer from schizophrenia, and the very fact that I don't know who is the I who speaks when I say I proves that I have identity issues and schizophrenic problems. So, yeah. Now, my relationship between me, which I guess is a mixture of my singular self and my particular self, God, which might be my universal self, and the world, which is whatever is external to me, I will talk about this relationship. My empirical self. For about 6 weeks since I have started making videos again, I think about God more and more. And actually, I think about God constantly. And Hegel says that God is pure thought. So, yeah. And I have recently read a book about Indian philosophy by Sankara, which explains that there is an observer, which is the absolute self, and the observed, which in the language of Hegel would be the particular and the singular self, or the empirical self, or the limited self. So I believe that there is an observer in my mind, which is the absolute self. But then about what I call God. God is an idea for me, and if I had to be honest, I would say that God makes me laugh sometimes, that he kind of turns me on also, and if I had to be honest, I find him absolutely amazing. And those who have been watching my videos have probably noticed that I sometimes burst into laughter during my videos. That's uncontrolled laughter, I guess. And I know in this moment that it is what I call God which makes me laugh, and I can't prevent myself from laughing. And in these moments of laughter and joy, I like to say that I am so full of God that I want to share him with others. Yeah. Then there is what I call the substance, which is a term from Spinoza and also from Hegel. The substance is what is for me the objective world, which manifests itself to me through other people, but also for whatever is existing within the realm of the physical nature. And the substance manifests itself to me through coincidences, synchronicities, and the way I interpret these signs. I believe that the substance, which is the other of the negative in the language of Hegel, which is the objective world confronting the subject, is trying to help me by guiding me and putting me on the right path, but also sometimes punishing me for my errors. So I am in an ambiguous relationship with the substance, but yeah. And finally, another view of God that I have is that God is, as I envision the entity, an infinite intelligence which knows everything about everything, which knows the unfolding of the universe since what we call the Big Bang, and which knows everything about me, about what I call myself. And I'm not sure that this entity exists, but as I envision this entity, I will say he knows everything about me, and he knows me more than I know myself, and he might reveal everything about me that I have forgotten, because as an empirical individual I am cognitively limited. My memory is limited, my IQ is limited, my capabilities are limited, and this entity, this God as I envision him, if it is real, might know, and I think if he exists in this sense, he knows everything about me, and he knows what I don't know about myself and what I have forgotten about myself, and he also knows everything about the others and about everything. So this is the infinite intelligence of reality. And I do not identify with this infinite intelligence because I have never made the experience of entering his mind as being a full understanding of the whole of reality. That has never yet happened to me. I believe that I have entered the mind of what I call God, but not this entity, this absolutely intelligent entity. And if this entity that I call God in his most intelligent form knows everything, then this entity must know that there have been moments in my life when I was genuinely scared, unlost, unconflicted, and that I still am scared, lost, and conflicted. And he must know that I am paralyzed by the knowledge that I am the negative. And this entity must also know that throughout my life, I have accepted to take risks, which is at least partly a courageous decision. And most of my decisions to take risks were inspired either by Eminem or by Hegel, and that I have accepted the challenge, so to speak, and I have accepted to let go of parts of myself. I have not let go of everything, but I have made steps toward letting go of what I possessed and accepting to lose myself in my expression. As Eminem says in one of his songs, step into the unknown. I have partly accepted to step into the unknown because as of now, I have revealed many things about me and I don't know what will happen. I mean, I know that my empirical self will suffer, but other than that, I don't know what will happen in the realm of spirit. My empirical self at this moment is quite ignorant. So, yeah. And about the world, I believe that the natural world, which is the world of time, space, matter, energy, the laws of physics, is an emanation from God. So that it is the mind which creates nature. I don't know how, but I know it is true. And about the thinking minds within the world. You, if you identify yourself as a you different from me, I believe that every thinking consciousness, every singular thinking mind is a mirror of God, and that you are a part of what I call God. And if I were to be honest, I believe that you are a reflection of me, a part of me. So, yeah. And I will read a quote from Philip K. Dick, folder 26 of the Exegesis. He says, God is immanent, the universe, the world, is his body. The phenomenal world we see is projected by him as if emitted. A switch in viewpoint can occur during which men cease to view themselves as individual men at all and view themselves as microforms of God, in which case the goal is not human freedom but recollection that they are incarnations of God, and having remembered can regain their identity as God the macrocosm. He talks about a three-part process of emanation, sustaining, and final reabsorption. The last part begins with the restoration of memory that one is God, or part of God. The way I interpret this text is that in August 2018, I had the experience of identifying with God. I believed that I was God. I later realized that it was just reason, and I understood at this moment that the process of the reabsorption, as he calls this, would begin. So, yeah. Now, what I believe. I don't know who is talking when I say I believe, but I will try to be honest, and yeah. These are my beliefs. I want to be at peace. And I know that I am the negative, and that the negative is the cause of all conflicts. So there's a will to bring conflict in me, but also to have peace. And I believe that I, whoever I am, I cannot be at peace with myself as long as, or unless, every thinking consciousness anywhere is at peace with itself, with the world, with God, and with me. So, if I had to be honest, I'd say that my ultimate purpose is to bring peace. And I'm aware that we might have to go through times of trouble in order to achieve this aim. But what I want at the bottom of my heart is to be at peace with the whole of being. And the condition for this to occur, in my view, is that every thinking consciousness anywhere shall be at peace with the whole of being. That's how I envision things. Then, about spirit. I know that I have to become spirit, but I don't know what this implies. I mean, I know, but I don't know if I can be conscious as a spirit, if I will still have a sense of self, an immaterial self. I don't know. I know that I will die, that I am on my way to dying at some moment eventually, and I don't know what death is. I don't know if there is consciousness after death. I don't know. Then, about Eastern spirituality. The Eastern wise, enlightened beings say that we should seek the void, the absolute self, the emptiness, and so on and so forth. And I know that I am a Westerner, and that we in the West, and I say we as Westerners, but I say me as a Westerner, I have to go through the entire process of the development. So I have been tempted by this idea of trying to retreat into the pure void of the consciousness, but I know that it's too easy, and that I have to take the difficult path of conceptualizing the whole process of being. So there is in me the temptation of the Buddhist temptation, but I'm not sure that it's possible, and I must acknowledge that I am a Westerner with a Cartesian mind, with what the spiritual leaders call the ego, and they say you have to kill the ego. Yeah, but until the ego dies, the ego, der Verstand, as Hegel says, will try to conceptualize being. So yeah. Then, what I have been trying to do with this channel, I have tried to share the seeds of enlightenment, the foundation for the production of an encyclopedic speech. I have tried to share the view of the negative on the substance, to speak like Hegel, and to plant the seeds of light. I know that I have to renounce my books, and I just have to be the link, to link people together, to awaken others, and that's what I try to do. And this is all the ambiguities and the complexity of the negative, because the negative is negative and evil, but at the same time he tries to share light and the positive with others. So yeah, And now, what will I do in the coming days and weeks and whenever? As of now, I, whoever is the I who speaks, I need a body to think and to function properly. And I need to eat, to drink, to sleep, and to walk to make sure that the bodily functions of my empirical self are sufficient to enable my higher self to spread and share ideas. So as of now, I need my body, and I will sustain the vital functions of my body to make sure that I can keep spreading ideas with others on this channel. I will try to implement order in my life and in my thoughts. And as Jordan Peterson says, clean your room. So I will clean my room, and I will try to embody, as long as I can, the idea of order. So I will spend a portion of my days ordering my external environment, ordering my thoughts, sharing ordered and structured ideas with the external world. And the rest of the time that I have, I will work. And if I wanted to make a joke, I say that maybe I will work myself to death. I don't know. I don't know if this joke will prove to be funny in some distant future. I don't know. And I will share ideas with the world. I will try to awaken those, the singular thinking consciousnesses, which are reflections of me or of God. I will try to awaken them to remind them of who they are in my perspective, and to show them that I have recognized them, partly at least, as spiritual beings. Also, I will let others judge me, whoever I might be, and I will let others judge who is talking when I am talking, if it is my singular self, my particular self, or my universal self. And I will let the world judge me and use my own words against me. And to conclude, I wrote that I will follow what I believe is the right path, which I have described in broad outline, until what I call my higher will stops me eventually and corrects and eventually abolishes my lower will. But as long as this happens, I will follow the path of what I consider to be right, namely to be as ordered, structured as I can, by limiting my dependence upon the natural world, and at the same time enabling myself to share thoughts and ideas with others. That's what I will do until eventually my lower self collapses. And then, well, but that is my plan in all honesty. And that's what I had to share.